Hi, Dr. Corpora. For this vlog, I'll be talking about the definition of corruption and what we went over in class, and also the readings with Aristotle and Plato. And in the readings, it talks a lot about how corruption looks different in different regimes, but also that all existing governments or regimes are inherently deviant or corrupt because they're governed in the interest of rulers. This also brings into account a rhetorical question. It's like, if all governments and regimes are inherently corrupt, what is the point of condemning corruption? And the reading takes into account the rule of law, but I think an easier way to kind of sum it up is to consider the impact corruption has on the populace and how we can help humanity. So corruption in New Zealand versus corruption in Somalia is going to look vastly different and affect people differently. And for that reason, we condemn corruption in Somalia much more than we do New Zealand, because we can see the direct and indirect impact that it has. The reading also goes into an accepted level of corruption, or that's kind of my take out of it, because we do accept, for the most part, corruption in some of like the more westernized countries, or what we label as Western countries, because we don't see it impact people nearly as much as third world countries, or those that are struggling with democracy. And we also, as citizens of the United States, view democracy as one of like the governments that forms of governments that should be put into place in other countries, but also considering it's not the only legitimate form of government, and that doesn't make some acts corrupt just because we view them as corrupt. I think that's really it. Or I will mention, I think you mentioned in class a case study looking at Renaissance era Italy, and I'm taking a history of witchcraft class right now, but I did a case study on Caterina Sforza, who was alive towards the end of the 1400s, but I looked at the Medici family, and as the rulers of basically the papal accounts, they owned most of the papal accounts in Italy during that era. It was in their self-interest to control those accounts through any means necessary. As a result, there was a lot of corruption, but also good things came from that. Lorenzo de' Medici sponsored Renaissance era painters and artists, and because of that we have like the Duomo in I believe Florence now. So there is a level of accepted corruption. I think you can see that in most case studies, but then it gets into the point, where does it start to impact people negatively, and when can outside governments maybe cooperate or help to tear down like the established corruption. This is a very complicated topic, and I feel like I'm talking in circles sometimes, but I hope it made sense. And thanks for listening.